The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi 60 from Sri Lanka Insurance. Call 0112 357 357.
In a few moments, the news.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is precisely 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Danishka Madhavala and read by Chandima Virakon. Headlines. The government requests the public to act peacefully. Over 600 curfew violators have been arrested. The Education Ministry says students who sit for the exams should only attend schools tomorrow. A special program to supply fuel for the factories and industries. Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission has organized a special meeting tomorrow. Iran says they are already pumping oil at pre-sanctions level. England is chasing a mammoth target against Australia, the final match of the Women's World Cup. Local stories in detail. The government requests the general public to act peacefully in this situation. The state intelligence services have received information about arranging some activities and public unrest in several areas. The government requests the people not to attend those activities. The Department of Government Information announced that the curfew imposed in an island-wide manner, which was imposed at 6 p.m. yesterday, will be effective until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Individuals leaving for the airport during the curfew period can use their air tickets as a curfew pass. The Civil Aviation Authority informed that individuals returning home from the airport can use their boarding passes as a pass. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Railways has informed that passenger trains will not be in operation during the period of curfew. The Railway Department said fuel and goods transportation trains, however, will continue to function. The department informed that all trains except the night mail trains scheduled to run till midnight today will operate as usual to relevant destinations. Furthermore, private buses will not be in operation during the duration of curfew. The Ministry of Education has issued a special notice on calling students to government schools and government-approved private schools next week. The Ministry of Education has decided to allow principals to call students only for essential examinations which are scheduled to be held in government and government-approved private schools from April 4th to April 8th. At present, term examinations for all grades and teaching in the primary grades of schools in the northern, northwestern, southern and eastern provinces have been completed. A statement issued by the Ministry of Education states that only a few grades in other provinces will be left for term test during the relevant week. Accordingly, all teachers and other staff should attend the schools from April 4th to April 8th to make arrangements for this year's term tests and make plans for the next school year. Chairman of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation says that special programs are being carried out to supply fuel for the factories. Many factories and industries have registered under the CPC at present. The chairman says that industries can still register with the CPC to obtain fuel. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi 60 from Sri Lanka Insurance.
Continuing with local stories, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has instructed the officials to reduce power shredding time to 1 hour and 30 minutes. The Premier made this request as people are staying at homes these days. Accordingly, areas A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V and W will experience a 1 hour and 30-minute power cut between 5:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. today. Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission has organised a special meeting tomorrow. Chairman of the Commission, retired Supreme Court Judge Rohini Marasinghe, says that the aim of the meeting is to discuss several important issues regarding protecting the human rights of the people of the country. She added that attention will also be focused on the protection of human rights of the people who are taken into custody. To conclude the local news, the headlines again. The government requests the public to act peacefully. Over 600 curfew violators have been arrested. The Education Ministry says students who sit for the exams should be attending schools tomorrow. A special program to supply fuel for the factories and industry. Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission has organised a special meeting tomorrow. That ends local news.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi 60 from Sri Lanka Insurance. A health insurance plan to honour our most valued elders by the protectors of the nation. We now give our treasured senior citizens access to the very best medical insurance, specially tailored for anyone over 60. What's more, you don't need medical screening to access this policy. And Medi 60 covers a wide range of illnesses. Only from Sri Lanka Insurance. Call 0112 357 357.
On the main news story, the police say that 664 individuals have been arrested in the Western Province between 10 p.m. last night and 6 a.m. this morning for violating the curfew currently in effect. The government had imposed an island-wide curfew effective from 6 p.m. yesterday until 6 a.m. tomorrow, in addition to a state of emergency declared by the President. Meanwhile, in another regulation, the President ordered that no one should visit public places without permission during a 36-hour curfew imposed by the government. That ends the main news story.
Watch Life is brought to you by
More prizes, more gains with CIB New Year offers. Valuable gifts for every bill. 20% discount for bank cards until 10th of April. Visit CIB today.
Moving on to Watch Light. The central bank said that it continues spot examinations conducted by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka at the places of authorized money changers have found 2 money changers violating the directions issued to them. The central bank investigations have found that Swiss Money Exchange Private Limited and Western Money Exchange Private Limited, Colombo 6, have transacted at rates beyond the rates offered to them by licensed banks, thereby violating the directions issued to them under the provisions of Foreign Exchange Act No. 12 of 2017. The central bank said in the event the errant money changers who fail to rectify the matters communicated through the warning notices, the banks will suspend or revoke the permits issued to them. That ends Watch Light.
More prizes, more gains with CIB New Year offers. Valuable gifts for every bill. 20% discount for bank cards until 10th of April. Visit CIB today.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
No matter what anyone says, for your lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, Friendly Leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. Iran says they are already pumping oil at pre-sanctions level. Pakistan Army Chief seeks closer ties with US. Guantanamo inmate sent to Algeria after almost 20 years. Iranian oil production has bounced back to levels achieved before the US quit an agreement on the country's nuclear program and reimposed tough sanctions in 2018, according to the country's oil minister. Output of crude and condensate has rebounded to more than 3.8 million barrels a day, matching pre-sanctions levels, Iranian oil minister Javad Oji told media outlets this week. The country also has ramped up exports of crude oil, petrochemicals and refined fuels, finding dependable customers despite Washington's threats to sanction nations that do business with Tehran. The influential chief of the Pakistani army, General Qamar Jawad Bajwa, has said his country has an excellent relationship with the United States and wants to expand it without damaging similarly important strategic ties with China. At a security forum in Islamabad, General Bajwa said they have a history of long and excellent strategic relationship with the US, which remains their largest export market. Pakistan enjoys a close strategic relationship with China, demonstrated by their commitment towards the Pakistan-China economic corridor. Guantanamo Bay inmate Sufyan Baroumi has been repatriated to Algeria, US officials say, after spending nearly 20 years at the detention facility. He was captured at a safe house in Pakistan with a top Al-Qaeda member in 2002 and accused of taking part in a plan to bomb the US. But the US Department of Defense said his detention was no longer considered necessary. It said Algeria had given assurances that he would be treated humanely. To end the world news, the headlines again. Iran says they already are pumping oil at pre-sanctions level. Pakistan Army Chief seeks closer ties with the US. Guantanamo inmate sent to Algeria after almost 20 years. That ends the world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
For your wheel lease, visit the Leasing Mahagedara. People's Leasing, friendly leasing Mahagedara. More information from the nearest People's Leasing branch.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader. Development News is brought to you by...
Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on to development news, National Transport Commission is to introduce a special bus service to facilitate commuters during the upcoming Sinhala and Tamil New Year season from April 8th to 19th. National Transport Commission Director General Nilan Miranda said that buses will leave Colombo City to other provinces until April 15th and from April 15th to 19th in a similar operation will continue from other provinces to Colombo City. That ends development news.
Development News was brought to you by...
The coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Sports News is brought to you by...
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
And on sports news, it's cricket. The final match of the Women's World Cup final between England and Australia is now being held at Christchurch, New Zealand. England won the toss and chose to field. Batted first, Australia women scored 356 runs for the loss of 5 wickets at their allotted 50 overs. Alyssa Healy scored 170 runs. Rachel Haynes scored 68 runs. Beth Mooney 62, Anya Shrubosle took 3 wickets. In reply, England women scored 259 runs for the loss of 8 wickets at the end of 40 overs a short while ago. England women need 98 runs from 10 overs. Karim Benzema scored 2 penalties and had another saved as Real Madrid beat Celta Vigo to go 12 points clear at the top of La Liga. Benzema gave Real the lead after Nolito clipped Eder Militao before Celta's Thiago Gallardo had a goal disallowed. Nolito levelled from close range, but Real won another penalty when Jason Murillo fouled Rodrigo. And this time, Matias de Turo denied Benzema. Benzema scored soon after when Kevin fouled Ferland Mendy. He is the first player to score 2 penalties and miss another in a La Liga game since 1951. The last time a team won 3 away penalties in La Liga was in 1996. That ends Sports News.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
And on business news, Sri Lankan Airlines has decided to cease flights between Colombo and Bahrain operated under flight numbers UL201 and UL202 with effect from 12th May 2022. In a media notice, the national courier clarified that it is only ceasing the aforementioned flights and that operations to other destinations within its online network will continue without any changes. It further stated that any reports stating otherwise are incorrect and based on an internal company notice that was circulated in Bahrain, which contained an ambiguous title. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
We move on to economic news. The 10th edition of Sancharaka Udava, Sri Lanka's premier travel and tourism exhibition organised by Sri Lanka Association of Inbound Tour Operators, will be held on May 20th and 21st at the BMICH. The organisers say that primary objective of the event is to provide an ideal platform for small and individual service providers in the region to create much-needed links with the large travel players as well as public and private sector officials in the tourism industry under one roof. That ends economic news. And finally, we take a look at the weather report. Showers or thundershowers will occur over most parts of the island during the evening or at night. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. Light showers may occur in the coastal areas of western and southern provinces during the morning. That ends the weather report. And to conclude this bulletin of news, we take a look at the headlines once again. The government requests the public to act peacefully. Over 600 curfew violators have been arrested. The Education Ministry says students who sit for the exams should only attend schools tomorrow. A special program to supply fuel for the factories and industries. Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission has organised a special meeting tomorrow. Iran says they already are pumping oil at pre-sanctions level. England is chasing a mammoth target against Australia in the final match of the Women's World Cup. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.